As we talk about India in 2047 and our goal to become a developed nation, digital governance plays a huge part. One of the key objectives in digital governance, which the government has looked at, and it's something that the center is trying to work with the states on, is a system called Pragati. It's transformative potentially because it ensures that decision making is taken very often on a real-time basis. So it's an effort really to streamline bureaucracy, get decisions done, add efficiency, because without efficiency you will not get to that target. Amitabh Kant joins us now to talk a little bit about something that he's been closely associated with. I learned today that Pragati stands for Proactive Governance and Timely Implementation. The PM pushed this personally, right? How does it work?
So it started in 2014 when the new government came to power. The Prime Minister had his previous experience of Gujarat, where he used to drive Swagat. And you would recall that in 2014, we had the twin balance sheet problem. There were huge non-performing assets in corporate balance sheets. You had huge debts, and both the banks and the corporate balance sheets were in deep trouble. And one of the key challenges to my mind at that point of time was our inability to execute major infrastructures projects on time. There were huge time and cost overruns to these projects. And that was leading to many of these corporates borrowing more and more from banks, not being able to repay back. And the challenge was to actually crack projects on ground. And this was for the first time I saw the Prime Minister in action in 2014, when he started getting the secretaries to the department and the chief secretaries of the state government together virtually and asking them to deliver on projects. Now, in several cases, land acquisition was a problem. There was lack of political will to acquire land, or there was a complex land acquisition act. In several cases, the states would not just deliver. In other cases, the implementing agency was failing. In many of these large projects, it's not a project, it's a program where hundreds of departments are involved. So the Prime Minister started telling the secretaries and the chief secretaries that deliver this in time. Now, this was the first time a Prime Minister was reviewing, monitoring, and giving you timelines. And you could see the results falling in place. I'll give you my own example. That was a time when patents in India used to take about 4.5 to 5 years. You file for patents, 4.5 to 5 years. The first meeting I attended, unfortunately, as secretary, DPIIT, I'd just taken over as secretary. The patents and the trademarks got reviewed. And he said, bring this on par with Japan and America. It was a very tough review for me. My first review, very, very tough review. I thought I'll not survive that because I just joined. It used to take 5 years. And today we deliver a patent much faster. Patent registration in India is done much faster than the United States of America and Japan. The bureaucracy could do this because the Prime Minister set a timeline, outcomes were fixed, and we started delivering. Similarly, you look at infrastructure projects, the Navi Mumbai Airport project, the Bogeybill Assam project, or you look at the Kashmir Jammu to Kashmir, Baramulla linkage of the train, or the super thermal power project. None of these would have all gone into 15 to 20 years cost and time overruns. The country was paying hugely. There were massive overdues to the banks. There were corporates who were borrowing money. Railway projects were the worst performers. All this has transformed simply because of one thing, and that's Pragati.
One of the key parts of this is grievance redressing. If somebody has a problem, there is a solution. It's not like you're pushing file after file, chasing one officer after another officer. There are bound to be differences in major project implementation. That's the nature of the beast. Redressal of grievances. How has this system speeded that up?
So the Prime Minister started reviewing, especially departments where there was huge amount of issues of challenges like tax or like customs or wherever there was a human intervention interface required, he started reviewing that, and he had details of where the delays were taking place. And once you start questioning this, the important thing is once your review gets listed, even at the point of listing, the secretaries start working. So you start making radical changes in the system. And one of the key things is that, as a consequence of Pragati, a lot of radical restructuring of departments has taken place. Secretaries have pushed the envelope to say that I have to meet this timeline of the Prime Minister, and therefore I'll do away with this rule, this regulation, this procedure, this act, all that. So I think the country has enormously benefited in terms of radical restructuring on account of Pragati. And that has led to a huge amount of benefits, actually leading to flow of both the benefits going to the consumer, his redressal getting addressed, and ensuring that the beneficiary is not able to run around bureaucratic pillars at all in the government.
Sure.
So that to my mind has been a very, very transformational thing that the common man has benefited out of Pragati.
As I see it, there are three key parts to this. There's digital data management, that's the real-time updates on various projects. Video conferencing and geospatial technology was also used. How does it all come together?
So the Prime Minister, actually in the last couple of years, three key...
And has it improved over a period of
enormously.
time?
The three key areas where there's been real transformation is been, to my mind, one is that we were able to open 550 million bank accounts between 2015 and 2017. Yeah. Every second bank account in the world opened was in India. And then we could seed them with both Aadhaar and mobile number. That's one. But the second thing that's happened, which people haven't talked about much, was that we opened up several sectors. We opened up the geospatial sector. We opened up the drone sector. And now we've opened up the space sector. So what you've seen is technology being used in many of these areas, and that has greatly benefited. Now, in the master planning process, layers and layers of technology is used. Now, for instance, infrastructure projects will not get cleared today at all. It's not that particular infrastructure project, but your ability to get the road linkage, the railway linkage, the water connection, the electricity connection. So the project gets cleared when all this is put together and got approved. Yeah. And that, to my mind, I was earlier the CEO of the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor. Yeah. Dholera, we did the Dholera project, but there was no road network. There was no train network. Yeah. There was no highway network. All that has been cracked because of Pragati. So path breaking because of this. The integration, the convergence, the breaking down of silos, all that has happened as a consequence of Pragati.
So final question, cooperative federalism. This is not it may have started as being top down, but in fact it's something you want all states to be a part of. Is it the same system which you want all states to be a part of? Is it one common grid of digital governance that will work best?
So why it is delivered is because the Prime Minister was monitoring. Secondly, because the Prime Minister was monitoring, every Chief Secretary pushed the envelope. So you had all states, including Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, all of them working together to deliver on those projects. Many of these roads were passing through West Bengal. They delivered. There were challenges, of course, huge challenges. Tamil Nadu delivered, Andhra delivered. Many of them had to deliver simply because the Prime Minister was delivering. He was monitoring. He was reviewing. Now, this required him to do a lot of his own homework. He was doing a lot of his own homework.
On these individual projects?
Absolutely. He was coming thoroughly prepared for meetings. He was laying down the timelines, etc. But the important point was that he was bringing a lot of energy. Second thing is, I've never seen the Prime Minister ever getting angry in this Pragati meeting. I must have attended over 200 meetings, but never seen him angry. But his review was solid and very, very forceful. Now, if the Prime Minister does that, then the bureaucrats have to deliver. And this is the first time in my career I've ever seen a prime minister or a chief minister. I mean, I've worked with many chief ministers, I've worked with 3 prime ministers, but this was the first time I've seen such hard, brutal reviews. And those reviews eventually led to the results falling in place. And that is why you have a 94% delivery on Pragati projects. 94% delivery is path breaking. And that is why if India is to grow at rates of 9%, year after year, for 3 decades, up to 2047 to be a developed nation, you need Pragati to be done by the Prime Minister, but you need that model to be emulated by the states. That convergence, integration, breaking down of silos, converging technology to review and monitor is the key to our growth. You have to deliver projects without cost and time overruns, and ensuring that we create world-class infrastructure.
All right, Amitabh Kant, wonderful speaking to you. There you have it. Digital governance isn't just a cliche. It isn't just aspirational. It's actually in place. It's been in place for a while. But as it cuts down on needless bureaucracy, as it adds to efficiency, the big question is whether it can be scaled up in the years ahead using new technology, perhaps AI inputs, because this has to be a key part of the India growth story.